Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 3DO Experience, the 3DO retrospective podcast, where we talk about all things 3DO, the company, the console, and everything in between. I am Bill, and this is Thrak. How you doing, Thrak?
I am shocked, Bill. Just shocked at all these creatures. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm tired, but daylight saving times fucked me up this week. I'm not gonna lie.
How you gained an hour?
Yeah, you think, but like, I don't see the sun anymore. It's not.
So
fun.
what? The sun's overrated.
And it's cold and dark.
Good. You act like this is a bad thing. See, I love this. I love this time of year.
I am not a cold person.
I can't. You live in Connecticut, bro.
I know. I know. Oh, it never gets fun.
See, I always like this time of year.
It's fair.
I'm allowed to wear warmer clothing because I sweat like crazy. Like, I'm just always uncomfortable when it's warm out. So the fact that it's cold, I'm not uncomfortable. I can deal with being a little bit chilly because I can just warm up. I can put on a jacket. I can put on a blanket or something like that. You know, at worst, I turn on a space heater.
It's fair. I think it's because I grew up without air conditioning as a kid that I'm just like used to it. I don't know.
Maybe, but also I have very overactive sweat glands. I think it's a genetic thing.
That's fair.
So if it gets moderately hot and I start just pouring sweat, and then I hate it. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a bit of a week. Like, the NASCAR season just ended. Everyone's angry. So typical NASCAR.
Yeah. I kind of stopped giving a shit because it's like, oh, playoffs. Who cares?
Yeah, pretty much. Although they're apparently dying this year.
Oh, are they getting rid of the playoff situation?
They're getting rid of the current format. Whether they're going to actually go back to something that makes sense or come up with some stupider bullshit, I will never. I don't know.
Just keep it a point system. Just keep it a point system. That's all you got to do.
Do the thing that worked for like 40 years.
Yeah, just do what Mario Kart does, and you'll be fine.
Do what every other racing series does.
Exactly. Well, outside of that, since we'll talk sports, the World Series finished up last week. So the Dodgers won in Game 7. It's the first back-to-back World Series win in like almost 2 decades, something like that. It's been crazy. And really, watching the series, it felt like to me the Blue Jays had so many opportunities to actually win, to actually just like seal the deal, and they just couldn't do it. And the Dodgers took advantage. So we're in Dodgers dynasty territory now, or I mean, it's probably too early to call them a dynasty, but like, you know, they're probably on the road to being that. So I think if they win a third one in a row, which seems likely, then I think it's fair to say that. So
it's so crazy, like baseball. Being a New Englander, I remember growing up because when I was young, it was still during like the Red Sox like drought.
Yeah.
And I still remember when they won that first one. They've won like 4 since, so it's not as special anymore. But
I mean, it's always a big deal to win a World Series, though.
It is, but when you're a New Englander, you got to remember New Englanders are the biggest fair weather fans you'll ever see. So, like,
well, I think they got spoiled by like the Patriots,
the Patriots, the Celtics for years. The Bruins took a while. The Red Sox, but I still remember.
But I remember when they won that World Series. I think it was 04 because they broke the curse of the Bambino. So that was a very, very big deal, and I think we all were happy for them.
I was probably too young at the time to really care because I remember like the trophy actually like came to our school and we all get to see it.
That's cool.
I remember it was cool, but they did it during recess. And I remember as a kid, I was like, I want to go play on the playground. I don't care about some stupid trophy. That was my exact thought process at the time.
It's no Stanley Cup, but I do like the World Series.
Well, I love the Stanley Cup because the Stanley Cup's got all the history behind it. Like
it's just a giant Hawken thing that people always like drink champagne out of. It's awesome.
I like the one player. I forget what team it was, but he just threw it in his pool and just left it there.
Yeah, I love that shit.
Why not?
You know? Yeah, shit. Or like say like, you know, no, fuck, no, it's fine. But like, say like the Lombardi for the NFL, they always just like make one and people just put them in a case and never do anything with them.
Except for
You know,
Tom
then
Brady that one time in Florida where he's tossing it to Gronk across the harbor, and I'm like, what the fuck are you
well, he
doing?
has like 7 of them. He's
I know.
fine.
Just the
So
funniest videos.
yeah. So and then NFL. It was another chaotic week where actually I got most of them right. Actually, because I've been doing a little pick'em league thing where I've been picking who wins and who loses throughout this. And this last week I was 12-2.
Nice.
Not too shabby. And my current total, if anybody's curious, I've guessed 84 games right, 50 games wrong, and because there was that tie, I give it a little one on the side. I could
Nice.
easily give myself a loss to it because who the fuck predicts a tie? But you know, so I'm 84, 50, and 1. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Nice.
Yeah. And the Vikings beat the Lions. They were not favored to win. The Lions were favored by like almost 9 points. And then the Vikings beat them by 3. That was pretty nice.
Mm.
Very happy. So and then other than that, let's see, video game stuff. Still playing Power Wash Sim 2. I think I'm almost 50 hours into it. I can't stop. Like every time I play this fucking game, it was the same with 1 where I would start a job and just be like, hey, I'll just do a little, like, I'll get to like this percentage and then I'll stop. And then I'd get to a certain percentage and I wasn't finished with the little bit I was doing. And I'd be like, well, let me at least finish that out. And then I would, and then it would go up to like 1 or 2 more percent. I'm like, well, I got to keep going. And I just keep going and keep going. And I can't stop, man. It's a nightmare, but I love it so much. It's everything I wanted. So I'm very happy.
That's good.
And I also got the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection.
Nice.
Been playing a bit of that. I watched all the documentary footage, and have sampled every game, and I've been really enjoying it. But I've been seeing a lot of discussion online about it that kind of surprised me. Now I don't know if necessarily I got lucky or not, because I was hearing people complain about input lag, which I know for a fighting game that's a big deal. And I heard that I was like, oh, that's not good. And then as I was playing the whole thing, I was trying to make myself try to be more aware. I didn't notice any. Like literally didn't notice any.
That's how I
And
always feel, like how I know I'm not like a fighting game connoisseur, because like whenever I see like people like this port's terrible, the input lag is horrendous, and I play it, I just don't see it.
like, yeah, I didn't. And the thing is, it wasn't consistent. Like I was trying to figure out what people like the specific scenarios people were complaining about with input lag. And I think it was like Maximilian did a video about it, and he's a big fighting game YouTuber. I didn't watch the whole thing, but like I know he had some issues with it. And then I was seeing other things online about it. And again, I was trying to figure out where it was because I wanted to see where the issues were. And I couldn't find it. It seemed to be it was mainly in like the PS4, the PlayStation port, was having the input lag the most. A lot of people were complaining about it on Steam as well. I didn't hear any complaints about the Switch 2 version at all,
Hmm.
like in specific. But and of course, I'm playing it on Xbox, and I haven't heard a thing about that version either. So, like in the bit of research I've done, I guess I lucked out and got probably like the best version of it. But
Yeah,
also, like,
that's fun.
I'm not playing online.
Fair.
Which I'm like, if you're doing it online and there's input lag, that is an actual problem that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
For sure. But I think I've played like 1 or 2 online matches and they felt fine as far as I was concerned. But I'm mainly doing offline. And I'd heard some people say it was like the CRT filters were causing input lag. And I always turn those off because
Yeah.
I don't like they default to having them on, which I don't like. I always take them off because I'm like, fuck that. I don't need that shit. If it bugs me that much, I'll go pull my CRT out of the garage and plug it in and use it. So like all these little things I was seeing people were complaining about the input lag. They were things I weren't doing, or it could have just been I got lucky and my version is the best version. I genuinely don't know. So I mean, if anybody's listening to this and you're in the Discord and you're having input lag issues, please let me know the specifics because I'm trying to figure it out. Because outside of that, I think it's a great collection. I think
Did you
it's
try
really
Special
fantastic.
Forces?
Oh yeah,
How'd
I
that
mean,
go?
I'm planning on beating that and Mythologies. That's my plan.
See,
Special
mythologies.
Special Forces. It's not great, but I don't think it's really that bad.
It's
The
not. It's
To
more
be
the fact.
fair, I'm only in like the first area, like when you get to like the elevator and you're going through all the
Mhm.
floors. That's where I'm at. I didn't get super far. It was more of just like I was, following along with the documentary, and they were like, "Time for these games," and I'm like, "Okay, time to sample them a little bit." So I put a little time into them, but I'm planning on beating them. Like I'm planning on getting all the achievements in the game, and most of them are like, "Oh, just beat these games." So
Yeah,
I will be trying it. And Mythologies, I did play the first area of that up to I think it's when you fight Scorpion, like the first boss fight.
those cutscenes, man. Those
They're
cutscenes.
great. I love them to
They're the
death.
best part of that game for so
And
many ways.
and in the Legacy collection, you get some behind the scenes stuff of them filming those cutscenes.
Oh, that's
Like you
amazing.
get, like you see them like rehearsing it and everything, and which is really cool. And yeah, Mythology Sub Zero is a weird ass game because I think the plan was the sub series was going to be Mortal Kombat Mythologies, and they were going to do various side games for all of the characters. Like Liu Kang was going to have one, and Scorpion, and Sonya, and Jax, and maybe not Jax, but like all these other characters were going to have these kind of side story type games where they take the Mortal Kombat control scheme and formula and try to turn it into like a weird action adventure brawler with very light RPG elements, kind
Mm.
of. And it's weird because when you get to that point, they made a little video which is mainly just Jeff Gertzman yelling about how he thinks it's not that bad of a game. And as I was playing it, I was like, yeah, it's really not that bad. It's weird as fuck, and it reminds me a lot of Batman Forever,
Yeah, it
because
really
Batman
does.
Forever was the exact same thing where they took Mortal Kombat and tried to turn it into like a straight up beat 'em up. And I have I think I have more of a softness for that game than most people, probably because I grew up with it. So I have a bit of fondness for Batman Forever on the Genesis because I still have my copy down here.
I never
And
played the Genesis version. I only played the Super Nintendo version.
they're the same game. But I played the shit out of the Genesis version as a kid and always kind of liked it. And as a kid, I didn't think about it, but I didn't have experience in other beat 'em ups. Like we didn't have Streets of Rage or Golden Axe, so I didn't have those games to compare it to because obviously they're better.
Yeah,
So I've always, I think I'm nicer to Batman Forever, the movie and the game, more than most people, right? So Mythologies gave me that kind of a vibe, right? Um, and yeah, like you unlock special moves, I think, as you go and everything. And it'll
I
be a
think
curious game to sit down and play the whole way through because I am going to be doing that eventually.
I'm pretty
So
sure the majority of the people who actively dislike that game played the N64 version over the PlayStation version.
I've heard that's the worst version, and you get
Well,
the PlayStation 1 version of that and Special Forces on this collection.
I
So
think it plays worse and it doesn't have the cutscenes, so it's like you're just losing in every way.
yeah, you really need the cutscenes. I couldn't imagine doing this game without the
They're
cutscenes, to be
they're like
honest.
still frames in the N64 version, from what I remember.
That's gross.
Yeah,
Disgusting. And yeah, like so that stuff was there. And I was seeing some people complain about like the collection of games on here. And I'm like, guys, this is like a documentary archival thing of Mortal Kombat. Like, if you ask me, they didn't go sicko enough
I
when
know,
it came
right?
to adding every fucking port of every single game. Like a couple of like I think notable admissions for me are the Genesis version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which again was the version I had as a kid. That's the one I grew. That's the game that made me a fan of the series. Was that specific port of that version? And I don't like the Super Nintendo version, which is on here. I think it kind of sucks. But if you ask me, I think just about every Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo sucks. Not just the first one is bad.
Yeah,
Like
that was
like
bad to begin
people
with.
like people yeah, because people are like, oh, there's no blood or whatever, but it looks so good. I'm like, have you played it? It doesn't play well, like at all. The Genesis version, sure, it looks worse, but it feels so much better.
And that
Like,
soundtrack. That
oh, I
soundtrack.
love that soundtrack. It's so good. And going through this collection, in just about every instance where we had the Genesis and the Super Nintendo version of the Mortal Kombat games, I always preferred the Genesis version.
Hmm.
They just felt better to me. I don't know, and then maybe that like kind of grungy Genesis vibe fits that series better.
I think my
Whereas
favorite.
like the Super Nintendo versions of Street Fighter were always really really good
Yeah,
because I feel like they were more of a good fit for each other. Whereas I think Mortal Kombat and the Genesis to me felt like a
yeah,
right match.
yeah. Because I think when it comes to Ultimate 3, like the version I always remember playing was like the Saturn version,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is pretty good.
hmm So like that was a notable omission for me. An interesting one was not having the Game Boy Color version of Mortal Kombat
Yeah,
4,
which Digital Eclipse made,
which
which
Digital
is
Eclipse made. Yeah, and there's no ports or home versions of Mortal Kombat 4 at all. It's just the arcade version, which is actually nice because apparently the arcade version is difficult to emulate. Like even on MAME, it still
yeah.
struggles.
The closest we ever got to that was like Gold on Dreamcast, and that's not a
Yeah,
great
and
port.
Gold on Dreamcast would have been a great fit for this guy because it has more characters. They actually
True.
rebalance the game, and in some ways, it is the superior version. But it's great that the arcade version is here, running perfectly fine. You can even like 4x the rendering. They give you the option to like really max it out if you want. So like those I thought were noticeable. There's probably some others that if I really think about them, I'd be like, it's kind of weird that they're not here. But if they're doing post-launch support, my assumption is they could add more games later. And they haven't said they are or they aren't, so who knows? I mean, definitely they need to work on like the input lag situation. Apparently the online isn't great because there's like no lobbies or matchmaking or anything at the moment. Like if you want to play it online, you just kind of have to pick a game and just kind of hope somebody's playing. It's kind of just it feels very old school. You just kind of throw yourself out there and hope somebody, you know, grabs your hand, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
So hopefully they clean that up. And also the 32X version of Mortal Kombat 2 for some reason is not using the soundtrack of the 32X version. It's using the Genesis version. And I noticed that because the 32X version had like extra voice sound
yeah.
effects and voices and all this stuff, and those are not there. So
Interesting.
hopefully that is again. They've said they're going to be trying to fix that. I think so. I
I
think
wonder because
there'll probably be a big update for this guy down the
hmm,
road that fixes a lot of this stuff. So I hope so.
I wonder if
Um,
that's just a weird 32x emulation issue. Because I know
it could be.
the 32x rarely gets emulated, which is probably why.
I mean, you can do it in Pico Drive,
Oh,
which
I
is like
mean,
that all-in-one like Sega emulator from that era,
even
which is like
King of
Master
Fusion can
System.
do
So
it.
32X does everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but I know they build their emulators from the ground up, so maybe it's just
yeah.
an issue on their end. But outside of that, like seeing some people complain about the collection, I just find really weird. Like, being like, "Oh, there's too many games or not enough ports or
Who
whatever," and it's like,
complains about too many games? That is
it,
such a
like I view it as like again, this is supposed to be like a archival documentation of Mortal Kombat. So, give me everything because I think it's good, especially to celebrate this like everything pre-Deadly Alliance, basically. Even though we have Deadly Alliance in GBA form on here, they just threw the GBA games on here, which I think is cool that they're there. Um, so it's nice to see that all of that stuff is there, and I do wish there was more of it. And I shouldn't be surprised. I saw this online. People complaining about like the price point being like, "Oh, it's so expensive," and you could just emulate these games anyway. And it's like, well, yeah, you could do that with any fucking old game. That's not the point. Like, if anything, you buy this thing, this collection. If you're me and you're a big fan of the series and you're really intrigued by like the near 3+ hours of like documentary behind the scenes footage that they shot brand new interviews with just about all of the main Mortal Kombat team, like Ed Boon, Tobias, John Vogel, Dan Forden, Sal DeVita, Steve Baran, Tony Goski, Mike Boone, like all of the big behind the scenes guys. The only one they didn't get was Dave Mikicic, and I'm not quite sure why, but like all the main guys that you expect are all there, and they do brand new interviews. They pull so much archival footage. That like there was stuff I'd never seen before, like a good chunk of stuff I'd never seen before. They talked quite a bit with Kerry Hoskins, who did Sonya from Mortal Kombat 3, which is pretty cool. There was no Carlos Pacina, who was Raiden, who did Raiden in the early Mortal Kombat games, and ended up doing a lot of the mocap for like Deadly Alliance and Deception and all that stuff. And no Rich DeVizio, who was Kano. So there were some omissions. I mean, they're all in the archival stuff, but as far as like new stuff, maybe they just couldn't get them or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure. And seeing all the fan stuff, I thought was funny because it was a lot of like people like Gertzman and some of these other people who do video podcasts, and it's just their setup, just talking to you about Mortal Kombat, which I think is kind of funny. But it's a nice balance of like hearing from the people who made the game and then fans who were playing the games at the same time. And they do a pretty good job of documenting everything. And like you learn a little bit about Ed Boon and Tobias, like, their like background and growing up in Chicago and all that stuff. So if anything, you buy it for that stuff. And for that, it's phenomenal. Like it's really, really well done. Like Digital Clips do such a good job with the documentary stuff that I think it's definitely worth a praise. So I'm hoping they add more stuff down the road. That would make me happy. If not, it's okay. I could just pop Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on here and just play it, which I do anyway. So it's not that big a deal. But yeah, it's great. And it is $50, which, not the worst price in the world, but
it's not 70.
True. But when I bought it, you could pre-order it for like 10% off. And I think it's like $5 sitting in my account. So I paid a little less than 40 for it. So I did get a bit of a discount. So
it's not bad.
If it ever goes on sale for like $20-$30, it is a must buy. Genuine must buy. And I'm hoping they do a follow-up with Deadly Alliance, Deception, Shaolin Monks, Armageddon. Fuck it, throw DC Universe in there. Though we need a legacy collection of that era.
In that
Mortal Kombat, like
DS.
a proper follow-up. Yeah, throw the DS game in there. Fuck
Ultimate
it.
Mortal Kombat, which I'm pretty sure is just 3, but
it's just I think it's just UMK3 on the DS. But
also
it's better than
the PSP game, Unchained. You gotta play that too.
Just fuck it, throw that in there.
Fuck it.
Yeah, well, because Mortal Kombat Advance is just UMK3 on GBA, and it fucking sucks.
Oh yeah,
it's terrible. But I'm glad it's here because, as I've always said with preservation, you have to preserve the bad games too. So people complaining about there's so many bad games on here. I'm like, it's part of the fucking story. It's part of the legacy. Like they even when they're talking about the Game Boy ports of Mortal Kombat 1. One guy, he was like, this is all I had. So I played it a shit ton as a kid. I know it wasn't great, but it's what we had, and I like that stuff. That stuff needs to be, we need to allow ourselves to appreciate that side of gaming as well.
Now I'm kind of bummed they didn't put Mortal Kombat 4 on there, the Game Boy Color version, because that is an official game that looks like a fucking bootleg, and I kind of love it.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they'll throw it in there. But cool. Again, maybe it's like Warner Brothers being weird. I don't know.
Or they just lost the source code to it, and they're like,
well, they're just emulating everything, so they're probably just dumping ROMs into an emulator, optimizing it, and throwing it in here. That's probably what they did.
Probably.
So, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Some people don't want to bother with emulation, so there you go. Let them do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my Mortal Kombat spiel.
I actually bought a game recently. I got it came out. I completely forgot about it, but it came out. I got the Tales of Xillia remaster.
How is it?
It's Tales of Xillia, just like I remembered it. Only it looks nicer and it plays about the same.
Oh, good. How much was that? Was that 50?
I paid. No, it was like 40.
That's not bad.
I had points on my one of my credit cards, so I ended up paying like 30 something for it.
Not bad at all.
Day of, and I popped it in just to see it. I was like, Tales of Xillia, just like I remembered it.
Well, that's great.
I'm probably not going to play it right away just because I still got to finish Vesperia. I want to finish my Graces playthrough. But I am happy because it's another of the PS3 era games that's finally out of PS3 purgatory. Now we just got to get Xillia 2, which I think is the next one they're working on.
I think so as well. Like, I'm kind of surprised they didn't do them both together, or at the very least, when they did Xillia 1, say, like, I know what you're wondering. What about Xillia 2? Rest assured, that one's coming soon. I'm surprised they didn't bother doing that. Or maybe when they announced the next, because they said they have a couple more remasters in the works. Like, I think at least 2 more. my guess is when they get there, they'll be like, I hope y'all have been enjoying Zillia 1 because now it's time for Zillia 2. That's probably what they'll do.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Zelia
then
2.
hopefully they cap it off with Abyss.
Yeah, because Abyss after Zelia 2, Abyss would be the only like significant mainline game post Symphonia that isn't easily accessible at the moment.
Yeah.
Because no one gives a fuck about Legendia except for like the couple Legendia fans out there.
I feel like Abyss is probably one they will. I mean, I've been saying it for a while. I feel like they have to do it because if they're bothering to go back in and remaster a bunch of the classic ones, like, and they did Symphonia again, and Vesperia is already out there. Like they're specifically tackling like the Symphonia Studio games, right?
Yeah.
Like the one they haven't done yet is
Is
Abyss, and it feels like it's a glaring omission.
The only
So I don't know if that means if they're like building it up to be like something special, or maybe because it's strictly a PS2 game that only ever got a 3DS port, maybe they have to like borderline remake it.
That's what I wonder because Abyss is a weird one because that was they still hadn't Abyss was like the last one where before they started voicing the skits, which is skits are such a big part of the Tales series. And one of the things, as much as I love Abyss, one of the things that I'm always disappointed by is that they didn't voice the skits in the US version. They are voiced in Japan. That's why it bothers me. I guess it was just probably money thing, but the fact that we got Abyss at all says more than anything.
Yeah, I'm thinking they probably just have to put a lot more work into it. And who knows, maybe when we get to Abyss, they're just going to call it a remake because there's probably a good chance they just have to remake it from the ground up.
I'd like an Abyss remake. I don't.
But I'm thinking if they're going to do it, they'll do it in like, say, that Zillia, Vesperia, kind of like that PS3 360 era kind of vibe to it because it's a PS2 game. And I don't know, maybe they could go in and give it kind of that HD upgrade. I don't know, but again, I still feel like Abyss they are doing, but maybe it's just like logistically, like how do we get this to match the other remasters because it's not as easy as like going into Graces, which is like a PS3 game. It's already widescreen, it's already HD, so you bump it up and give it some quality of life stuff. Bada boom, it's less work to do.
Yeah, I think it's also to the because the Symphonia port is infamously bad. Because it's a port of a PS2 game, and I think the PS2
and everyone wanted the GameCube version because it runs better.
Yeah, it runs at 60, and every other version runs at 30.
Yeah.
See, the thing about Abyss is Abyss also runs at 30, and it's also a PS2 game, and I wonder if that's kind of the thing that's holding it from being ported right away because PS2 is kind of hard to emulate.
Yeah, PS2's not. I was gonna say PS2 really. At least in my experience, I can get it running on my fucking laptop.
See, it's funny. Fans can emulate it, but for some reason, companies can't figure out how to emulate PS2 to save their fuck. Sony couldn't do it. They just shove a PS2 in the goddamn PS3.
Well, I think. Back in like 2006, I think it made more sense that the emulation would be tougher. But also, if you think about it with Symphonia, I think with that new remaster, it's based off the PS3 version, which is already like all the HD had already been done, so it was easier to go back in. But I don't know. Again, I can't help but think they're doing something with Abyss. They have to be doing something.
I hope so.
Because if they don't do anything, everyone's just going to bug the shit out of them about it because it's one of the more popular games in the series.
It's like one of the most popular, but also one of the most divisive. Like there were a lot. I'd
call it a fan favorite.
Yeah,
like fans really like that one. So I think they'd be silly to completely ignore it. I would, and I mean I've heard that they're also working on a new one, but it's going to be a while, like a brand new Tales game. So
yeah,
maybe, and I feel like it might be different from Arise. Because I know Arise was a bit divisive as well. I think it was divisive amongst fans.
Arise
but I bet you if I played Arise, I'd be like, this game's fucking awesome.
That's the thing about Arise.
I have it. Somebody gifted it to me a couple years ago. I still haven't played it.
Yeah. The general consensus with Arise is it is the best and worst starting point of the series. Because it is an amazingly beginner-friendly game that's super easy to get into. But if you're a Tales series veteran, it is like nothing like the Tales series. Like it's it's like both a great and an awful Tales game. It is a very weird game.
Yeah. So, and my guess is probably the new one isn't going to be very Arise. Maybe they'll go back to more Berseria.
I hope so because I still think the formula they established with Zelia and went on from there is like some of the best gameplay in the series.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I hope they go back to that and just expand it and make it look prettier.
Well, we shall see. And one of these days, I'll sit down and play one all the way through. I keep saying that, but like when I eventually beat my first Tales game, we'll talk about it. You know, so Vesperia will be coming one of these days.
Yeah.
So, anyways, news again, really not that much. My fucking mouse die. Okay, we're fine. Let's see. The Switch 2 is at 10 million now.
It's coming.
Yeah, well, it's already sold 10 million units, so good for it. That's really all I got for that. Animal Crossing New Horizons is getting a big ol' update.
I saw that and I was like, I haven't visited my island in like 2 years.
Yeah, well, apparently they're doing a lot more than just like optimizing it for Switch 2. Like they're adding in a bunch of new shit. Like it's like a free like version 3.0 or whatever. Where there's going to be like a hotel and a bunch of other like a new location. There's going to be like Lego stuff in it now and they're kind of going back to you can play like old NES and Game Boy games in here now, but it's like you need an NSO membership to do it. So it's like, it's just giving me the Animal Crossing background while I play Ice Climbers, basically.
So I can go find these games and then be like, hey, well, I'll buy them.
Yeah, by the way, buy them. Yeah, but pay for our membership, which I think is hilarious. But
it's the most Nintendo thing ever.
But what I find nice about it is all of this new content. It's only a $5 upgrade. So if you want to buy it purely for Switch 2, it'll be $65. But if you already own it and you want to play all this stuff on your Switch 1, or say you have a Switch 2 with your copy on Switch 1, you can upgrade to the Switch 2 edition for $5. And I think it just gives you the Switch 2 stuff and it looks better and all that. But I think the update with all of the new content, I believe, is on both. I think. Again, I'm not a big Animal Crossing fan, so I don't know the details. But looking at it, it's like, damn, they like kind of went all out for it, which says to me the next Animal Crossing is still a long ways away from now.
Yeah.
If they're bothering going back to New Horizons and adding in all this stuff when they said they were done. So, and it's not like a little bit, it's like substantial. So
the next Animal Crossing is going to be successful, but I don't think it's going to be the same fucking phenomenon that New Horizons was just because of the timing.
No. Yeah, the timing really helped for New Horizons. And though I wouldn't be surprised if New Horizons did gain a bunch of new fans for Animal Crossing. And that when the next Animal Crossing comes out, those people will go out, buy a Switch 2 and buy the next Animal Crossing. I mean, I won't be surprised if it's one of those games that like it's like almost having its like Pokemon moment where it'll have its subset of fans who just play that. Like they'll get a Switch 2 just to play the new Animal Crossing, and then they're happy as a clam.
I know one personally. She lives nearby. That's all I'll say.
Hey, if she's happy, she's happy. Nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not the biggest Animal Crossing fan, but like, there are worse games to play. I think the Animal Crossing I enjoyed the most was the first one on GameCube.
That one
that one has a charm to it that I think the other Animal Crossings have never really duplicated. There's just something about that first one that I really liked because I tried the DS one, I tried the Wii one. What was the 3DS one? New Leaf. A friend of mine had that. And I would mess around with the other ones, and I was like, yeah, they're fine. I never like fully immersed myself in them, so that might be the issue. But with New Horizons, I put like 15 hours in it maybe, and then I was done. I was like, I've had enough of this.
See, I played New Horizons like religiously because that was like one of the only things to do during that time. So,
I mean, Doom Eternal was out. You could be playing that too.
I had to find that goddamn coal, man. I had to find the coal.
I was probably the guy who was playing Doom Eternal back then.
Well,
That's
I
just
went
that's
from
just more my game. Sorry.
I went from Animal Crossing to after that I went on like a freaking like basically the rest of the pandemic I was playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. So
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So, but yeah, that's cool to see, and it seems all the Animal Crossing fans are happy. So good for them. I'm just glad Nintendo didn't pull the $80 bullshit with that one.
yeah,
They're just like, "Eh, $5 upgrade. Here's a bunch of new shit." And I think that's a good way to go about it. It's essentially a $5 DLC. Let's see. The only other real thing I have is I this was so stupid I felt the need to bring it in, and that's the Simpsons have returned to video gaming, but it's not the hit and run remaster that we all want. They're just in fucking Fortnite now.
whoa.
And
Who isn't in Fortnite?
I think 3DO Experience isn't in Fortnite yet. So
Give it time.
Epic, give us a call. If you pay me
The-
enough money, I will show up in Fortnite.
Just the Super Pod, the Super Pod Network DLC.
That would be sick as hell.
What a choice!
I would love that actually. But yeah, I guess they're like there's like a whole Springfield map and all this other crazy shit. And they're it feels like they're making it a big deal, being like, oh, look at all these like, like there's the power plant, there's Burns Mansion, all this, the Quickie Mart, like all the big stuff. It's in Fortnite and it's a little map. And I feel like honestly, if I was a Fortnite person, I'd probably be like, this is kind of fucking cool. Maybe drop in as Homer Simpson, maybe play a few rounds,
Make references that all the children playing wouldn't get.
Yeah, avoid the Tremopolines and and then move on with my day.
Tremopolines!
Yeah, and then be like, when are we getting to the fireworks factory, and then bail out. You know what I mean? So I'm fine with it. Sure, why not? There are worse things to do. There are worse collabs than The Simpsons, I guess.
I just got this image of me and Tony trolling children on that fucking just making references to episodes.
Oh yeah, and they have no idea what you're talking about
Oh,
because
yeah.
if they've watched any Simpsons, it's like modern Simpsons that's just not good.
Or they've never watched it all and they just playing it for the hell of it.
Exactly. So, let's see. The only other thing I saw was like more of that Nintendo Power World patent shit was going on, where like Japan,
Yeah, so Nintendo,
where like
it
they
got
tried to
thrown
file
out.
it in Japan, and Japan told them to fuck off. But I think in America they're still fighting it or something, or like I don't know. Again, it's really stupid, and it's just Nintendo trying to exert some weird control over this game that they feel is like hurting their like I don't know why they're going after Power World so much specifically, because it's not like Power World is eating into sales of Pokemon.
No,
I
it's
can't
not.
imagine.
They're not even similar games. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like everyone was talking about was Pokemon with guns, and then I played the game preview and it was
it's
on Game
nothing like
Pass,
Pokemon.
and I'm like, oh, this is some like survival game bullshit. I don't like this. And didn't play it.
Power
'Cause I
World
don't like
was
that
like
shit.
a phenomenon for like a week, and then it, like most things that try to challenge Pokemon, it just dies off and has a small fan base, but like will never touch Pokemon,
Yeah,
basically.
like there have been other games throughout the years that are like genuine Pokemon ripoffs, and they didn't give two shits.
Nope.
So I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe somebody got in their ear and were like, "Oh, we got to do this." So I don't know. It's dumb and it's stupid. So who cares?
It's either that or it's like a distraction or something.
Maybe I don't know. Like, despite the Switch selling 10 million copies, it just feels like it's just kind of here. I don't know. I feel like it hasn't really made the big explosion yet.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'll probably get one next year because that's when all the games are coming out. So
Yeah. We did get new Nintendo music. Actually,
oh, we did. I didn't actually see it this time.
fittingly, it's a game that we mentioned recently.
Who the fuck? Oh, fuck off. I was like, why is WhatsApp talking to me? I don't talk on there. I think the only reason I got it was because Aaron was like, let's do WhatsApp for a bit, and then he fell off of it.
Yeah.
Like he does everything. What's the new one this week? Is it New Leaf?
Yeah, it's New Leaf.
Why not?
I mean, Animal Crossing music is catchy, so that's fine.
Let's see. Is there a KK song in here? There's got to be.
Yeah, there's got to be.
Not seeing one. unless it's under a name I don't know. Because again, I played a bit of New Leaf, but not really enough to know much.
I played 2 hours and got bored. New Leaf's not the one that
That's
hooked
me
me.
with Animal Crossing in general.
That was me with Animal Crossing up until New Horizons, because New Horizons was just a weird occurrence.
The GameCube one I always liked. I don't know why. There
I
was
didn't
just
grow up with a
something.
GameCube, so I didn't have that nostalgia for it. I liked the game, but I
I
never
never played
played
it as a kid. I think I got it sometime in the 2010s when I found it for like $2. I
Fair.
messed around with it and was like, I was liking the vibe and everything. It was kind of neat, and it's a very small map. I think that helped. Like, it's not a big game; it's fairly small. But it was like after quite a few hours of roaming around and chatting with people and occasionally doing things, I was just like, "Is anything going to happen?" Like, I think I was almost expecting something else to happen, and it didn't. You know, you just kind of keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I just kind of gave up on it and
See,
realized. And then people were like, "That's just Animal Crossing." I'm like, "Well, I guess it's just not for me."
so you're deep into Animal Crossing when you're setting alarms to catch fish at like different times in the middle of the night. I may or may not have
Oh
known
yeah,
people that
yeah,
did
yeah. Or
this
people are
shit.
like, yeah, people are like, "Oh, if you want this fish, you know, your game time has to be about this time or whatever, so you can get to it and do the thing." Yeah, I remember all that.
Good times.
Silly people.
Uh,
But speaking of silly, well, what's our game for this week?
our game for this week is Creature Shock.
Ah, shocked me. Sorry.
I don't own a physical copy, but that cover is wonderful.
Yeah, that looks like, I don't know, it looks like a screenshot of like another game or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just looks like it's like that wasn't supposed to be the cover, but they
Yeah, it looks
maybe
like they
ran out
like
of
dropped
time and just went fine. Or
they
they
dropped the
zoomed in
camera.
too much. They're like, shit.
They dropped the cameras they were taking. They were like, shit.
That was my last one. I'm out of film.
Like
Remember film, kids?
we could only afford one photo and that was it.
Yeah, like, and I'm looking at, let's see, like the Saturn cover looks a little bit better, though it just looks like a Spawn game or something. And then the PS1 European cover looks like a fucking monstrosity. Get that out of
Yeah.
here. That looks worse.
I love
So
the
it's like, this
3DO
is like,
cover too, because it's that image, but then it's just nothing but white, useless space. Like they didn't even use it
yeah.
all.
I think that's how, yeah, it looks like a budget VHS that you'd see at the rental store.
It looks like an old like long box like CD back when they were doing that.
Yeah. I wish I had a couple of those. Those would be fun to find.
I see them every day. Oh god, I just found that cover you were talking. What is that?
What is that?
Who approved that? Jesus.
Somebody
That looks good.
somebody at Argonaut Software, because yeah, this is it's yeah, a sci-fi game. It was developed by good old Argonaut Games, the British game developer founded in the early '80s. Who
They made Star Fox.
I think most people know them for making Star Fox. They also made games like Stunt Race FX, everybody's favorite game in the world, Croc, and then a Buck Bumble, the iconic Buck Bumble. And then the game I desperately want to see come back, Ninja, for the love of God, especially because Argonaut, you know, they went away for a while and then they've come back and they're like, oh, here's a remaster of Croc. And they're like, what else do people want? And I've been yelling at them to keep doing, to please bring back Ninja for the love of God.
They made the Catwoman game.
That was their last game.
God damn.
Wasn't very good. That wasn't a good game at all.
It wasn't a good movie.
No. But you were hoping the AVGN rules would apply, where it's like, you know, the movie is crap, so maybe the game is okay. Nope.
I think Matt McMuscles actually said he thinks the game was better than the movie.
I mean, it probably is, but I haven't played that game in 20 years.
Oh yeah, they made the Bionicle game too on PS2.
Yeah, that weird SWAT game on PS2. They made some of the early Harry Potter games on PlayStation. Like Argonaut did a fair amount of work. You know, like they were a pretty solid, like, I don't know, like single A developer. Is that a good thing to phrase them as? Single A, maybe bordering on double A.
They were one of those developers who were able to like do a lot of really cool stuff with less.
Yeah,
Um,
and they work, and as far as like their publishers, like they worked with Nintendo, they worked with EA, THQ, Acclaim, Ubisoft, Namco, Vivendi Universal, so a lot of like the more notable names from that era
mm,
as far as publishing. So they were, and they got consistent work.
yeah,
Very rarely they took a year off. So,
the only real
definitely things were moving
time
for them.
the only real time they got screwed over was when they got screwed over by Nintendo.
Yeah, but I think everybody gets screwed over by Nintendo at some point, I'm learning.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it was just one of those things where they just kind of like, I think it was, in like October of 2004, they just kind of dissolved. I guess they just had money problems.
a lot of those iconic like like early 90s, like 2000s, like studios, they just kind of disappeared by 2004.
Yeah, it's weird because like they were getting consistent work. I don't know, maybe it was drying up, or maybe
Well,
the games weren't, meeting expectations, so companies were like not wanting to make new deals with them. It could have been a case of just the heads were just kind of running the company on fumes. You know what I mean? Like there have
Yeah.
been so many companies like that where you think they're doing just fine because steady stuff is coming out, and it's like I don't think their games are not selling terribly. Like all these games that I see in their gameography, I'm like, I recognize all these. I own some of them,
Mm.
so
You know
they're
what's
notable.
crazy? All of these like companies that kind of fit this Argonaut bill, they all had a really underrated like PS2 era platformer
Yeah,
that came out. Like, because I think like
for me, it's
PS
iNinja, but some
there's
people do
iNinja.
like Buck Bumble. I've
There
never
was
played
that.
Buck Bumble.
I think like Dr. Mudo, which was the last game by the original Atari.
There's Dr.
That
Muto, Metal Arms,
Metal Arms, Whiplash,
Voodoo,
which I'm
Whiplash. Not Vex
Vex.
though. Not
Vex.
Vex.
Vex was a weird game. That was
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. That was
that
a good
studio
one.
still exists too.
Yeah,
Somehow.
they've been HDing the old ones recently.
Hmm.
I have the HD of the first one, and when it just says HD, they ain't kidding.
Yeah.
As far as that's the same fucking game.
There was also a Scalar. Anyone remembers that game
I remember Scalar.
by
Um,
Astamelth.
there was Zapper, One Wicked Cricket.
Oh,
That
yeah,
game. Zapper's great.
Yeah, Frogger 3.
Yeah,
Because we all know what it was supposed to be.
yeah, like that era. I think you and me could do a whole episode on like PS2 era platformers.
There was
There's a
so
bunch
many
of
of them.
them. Yeah, and I think
I'm
we have a
pretty
fond
sure
list for them.
Whiplash was supposed to be like another Gex game, and then they just
Yeah,
changed it.
yeah, they changed it to a rabbit for some reason. We should cover that one of these days. That'd be a fun one.
I gotta replay that. I played it once and then I forgot about it.
Yeah, I actually never played it, but it looks fun. But anyways, back to Creature Shock. So yeah, Creature Shock came out in 1994, so it was 1 year after Star Fox, and the same year as Stunt Race FX. So this was them. It was published by Virgin. Back when they had their video game division.
That is a logo that like dates a game like to such a specific time period.
Yeah. I mean, I look at that logo and I think of Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells, but I'm a weird guy who looks at things in a very different light. So, but I'm not going to get into that story of Richard Branson and all that. But anyways, this is when Virgin, a record label was like, oh, let's fun games, and they were successful for a while. But like it was originally owned by the Virgin Group, but then it got passed around. I think Blockbuster owned them at one point.
They did.
Yeah. So
that's another history that's such a weird rabbit hole, is the history of Blockbuster.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about that. So anyways, Creature Shock. It's just like a weird sci-fi game that was released originally on PC and 3DO. It later got ported to the Saturn, the PlayStation, and the fucking CDI.
The Saturn version came out first.
Really?
Yeah, according to this. Even though
I think it's because the Saturn version in Japan came out in January, and then in North America they don't have a date for it, but for 3DO it came out in March.
Yeah.
And and PlayStation was Japanese only.
And then CDI in 97, they like downgraded it to make a CDI port of all things.
I'd be curious to the CDI port of this game. I could see kind of why, because when I looked at like screenshots and everything for this game, I was kind of thinking it was going to be more than what we got.
Yeah, there is differences with the Saturn version, which we'll cover later on when we talk about the gameplay a bit. Um, yeah, it's the thing about the CDI version that I do know is notable is it's the only other version aside from the DOS original that allows you like mouse support.
Yeah. And I
Which is
feel like this
crazy
game
because
definitely needs mouse support.
that's crazy too because the Saturn and 3DO both had mouses, but they just didn't include support.
Who knows, man? Who knows? But yeah, so this game, it has like a fairly deep plot, I guess.
It's very alien
Yes.
esque.
I think that's what they're trying to emulate is like aliens specifically. But like the gameplay of it is like it's two different things. It's like a behind like a third person type of like, shooter, kind of like a shoot 'em up type of segment, like imagine like Galaga but 3D and you're looking at the bottom of the character or whatever. And then from there it goes into like on the ground missions, but they're like weird rail shooter arcadey kind of segments.
Yeah.
Like the parts where you're in the ship just like shooting shit was very like kind of standard fare, like kind of what you expect, like space shootery kind of
very,
thing.
very Star Fox esque, like rail
Yeah.
shooter.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, in a way it felt like they were still trying the Star Fox formula but with more powerful hardware. And that stuff I thought was fairly decent.
Yeah, the rail shooting I thought was really fun.
Yeah,
for the time.
Yeah, exactly. Fairly solid, well done. But then you land and then you do the rail shooter segments, and I didn't like these really at all.
Remember Starblade? Remember
Yes,
all the
I
problems
do.
we had? Remember all the problems we had with Starblade?
Yeah.
They're back.
Basically.
That was the best way to describe this because I was like, that cursor is no good. Like,
yeah. Like it's so weird. It's like a weird rail shootery thing, but they want you to like, oh, pick which side to go. And it's like this weird kind of maze where you have to like find these things and almost like solve puzzles and fight bosses and everything. And I'm like, to go back to Alien, if this was like, say, Alien Trilogy or something where I could like control my character and it's like a first person shooter type thing, I think it'd be great. Like the way this is set up to be like kind of like a mazy first person shooter that's like Doom-ish, like that segment. I'm like, that's great. I feel like that would have been a lot better than this like bad like Time Cop or whatever, Virtua Cop.
With a cursor that's too fucking fast.
Yeah, it's too fast and like and it sucks because a lot of the bosses have like specific weak spots that you can only hit them at very specific times and is just a real pain in the ass. Like that one, it almost looks like a crab or something, but like he's coming out of like that green like tube or whatever in his eyes and his like little squid thingies or whatever. It's like a crab or a squid or something. And you can only shoot him in the eyes when his eyes are open. And they're only open at very specific times. It's like it's asking way too much pinpoint precision, especially when you don't have mouse support. It's just like a controller. So maybe on PC it's better because it's like, oh, you're just using your mouse, so you can just kind of like pick and shoot and be fine.
This is where I want to bring up the Saturn port. The Saturn port added a few quality of life improvements. Most notably, the cursor speed has a speed option, and you can slow it the fuck down.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it was. It made the game playable. I would like to bring up though the other interesting change in the Saturn version. So for the rail shooting like space segments, like the good part of the game, on 3DO, they're actually really impressively rendered. Like they're not 3D, they're like it's like high rendered like 2D objects that it looks really good for the time.
Yeah, like a pre-rendered 3D type of thing, especially for like 94. Like it looks fairly ahead of its time. For sure.
And it runs really smooth too. Like it's got a very clean look to it.
Yeah, there was like no real slowdown or anything like it, especially in like the the plane or the space shooter shoot 'em up segments. Yeah, everything felt nice and smooth, which you definitely want in that kind of situation.
On the Saturn, and I assume the PlayStation, maybe I didn't actually look at the PlayStation version. That those segments are full 3D, like everything they rendered in 3D, and it
Mhm.
runs just as good. But it looks so weird, and it doesn't fit the look of the rest of the game. It's like a weird, uncanny thing when you play
Did
it.
they like completely re-render everything?
Everything's 3D. Yeah, the ship's all 3D. All the objects are 3D. It's impressive that it runs just as good, but it looks so out of place and uncanny compared to the rest of the game.
Yeah, that is weird.
Like
This
it's
is very
cool,
strange. Yeah.
but it's odd. Like it was weird that I was like, "Wow, this is cool." I'm like, it's like I don't like this as much as the 3DO version for some reason.
Yeah, it's almost like why not just make a new game at that point or something? I don't know.
Well, especially too because the Saturn being a 2D powerhouse probably could have made the regular shit look even better. In all honesty,
Yeah, yeah, I would agree.
yeah,
So
it's just
I
a
don't know.
weird
Oh,
oddity I
maybe the
noticed.
PlayStation is the PlayStation version like this.
I didn't look. I'm just assuming.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know because according to Wikipedia, the PlayStation version was also made by Argonaut, but the Saturn version was made by Interactive Studios, also known as Blitz Games.
Oh, Blitz Games. Another Argonaut type
Hmm.
studio.
See, the only reason I recognize Interactive Studios is because I immediately think, oh yeah, the Glover people who became Blitz.
Yeah. Yeah, they did Glover, Frogger 2, that Chicken Run game on Dreamcast,
Oh yeah, this fucking
uh,
Metal Gear Chicken. Love
Fusion
that game.
Frenzy, Taz Wanted. They made Zapper.
The Fairly Odd Parents games on PlayStation
Yeah.
2.
Bad Boys Miami Takedown, everyone's favorite game in the world. The Reservoir Dogs game. Fucking Sneak King. They did all the Burger King games.
Oh yeah, Sneak King. Fuck.
Yeah. And
That is a
Pac-Man World
experience.
3 where Pac-Man talks and he just sounds
Oh
like a
yeah,
guy.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah. Another company that's just like you look at their list and it's just like the most random shit in the world, but you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's like some of these are bangers and some of them are shit.
Yeah, yeah. Like look at that. Invincible Tiger, The Legend of Han Tao. Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe it's a hidden gem.
It might be, it might not be. So that was probably them just trying to like kind of show off, I think. Being like, look, we can render all this in 3D. And it's like, well, that's cool, but it doesn't really improve anything.
I don't know. This has nothing to do with anything, but one of the producers for the game is Neil Young.
Well, not that Neil Young.
I kind of want to believe it is that Neil Young. He just made this in his spare time.
This game's for you.
I saw the name. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but also this game has a bunch of like cutscenes, and it's doing that thing that we've talked about before, where they're having like 3D models trying to have like these like cinematic, serious cutscenes, man, and it just doesn't fit. Like I think they're more well done than what we've seen kind of previously in some other games. But again, it's so silly and outdated that it just doesn't help. Like they'd be better off just having straight up FMV.
Yeah. What was the game we played where like they had the cutscenes, but then they were like Mystery Science theatering them?
Oh, what game was that? Oh shit, I know what you're talking about.
This was like one of the ones we did a while back.
Yeah, I remember that game was trash
Yeah,
too.
it wasn't good. And
No.
this one reminds me of like Siberia where they're like trying to be serious, but it's like
Yeah, but it doesn't hit those like Siberia levels where it's so fucking nuts that it's amazing.
yeah, Siberia is a special case of just like what
Yeah.
the fuck.
Like I think this game is better than Siberia,
Yeah, no, I'd
but
say so.
it's not as memorable. And that's kind of like my big issue with it is because when I was looking into it before I played it, I was like, "Oh, this has the makings of a potential hidden gem." But I really don't like rail shooter segments when they're done like this, where they're just way too long and they're just doing it because they can't bother making the segment be you're just like kind of roaming around. Because if you're gonna do a big old maze where you have to like find the right places to like solve puzzles or open doors or find items to like go back. It's like, just give me full control. Don't make me do this rail shooter stuff. Like, keep it like House of the Dead, where you
Oh,
just keep going. Like, there are secret paths in that for sure, but like, if you don't care about that, you can just go through and you'll be just fine.
was it Syndicate that had the weird shit?
No, it wasn't Syndicate.
Not Syndicate.
Syndicate's too serious for that.
Johnny Bazooka Tone? I honestly can't remember which game it was, and it's driving me nuts.
I don't think it was Johnny Bazooka Tone.
That's gonna bother me for a while now, but regardless, we'll have to go back and look. Yeah, it's weird because like when I think of like cutscenes and like these weird 3DO games, like I think of like there's like legitimate serious stuff like Wing Commander where it's like they're playing that completely straight.
Yeah.
Or you get like kind of wacky stuff like the Dallas encounter where it's like it's cheesy but in that like really good way. And then you get stuff like this, which is just odd. Like this reminds me a lot of like Blade Force, where it's like just really cheesy.
Yeah. It is cheesy, and it just doesn't work, unfortunately, which is a shame because I don't think it's necessarily a bad game.
No, it's a very for the time kind of game. Like because I legitimately really like the rail shooting segments. They were up there with what was the Crystal game? Solar Eclipse or Total Eclipse.
Yeah, it's close in quality to that. I don't think it's as good as those, but I think it's a lot closer, and it's definitely more comparable to something like Star Fox. I mean, it makes sense because Argonaut worked on that, but it doesn't have what made Star Fox kind of special. It doesn't have that, unfortunately.
Yeah, because like I was thinking of like because then like this game, a weird comparison. This game reminds me a lot of Sonic Unleashed, where like one half of the game is really like well designed and great, and then the other half is like I see where the idea was, but this ain't it. Like
Yeah. I could see that. I
I don't know why Sonic's always on the brain with us. What am I saying?
Yeah, it's true. Can't
But
stop.
gotta go fast. Anyways, yeah, it's weird. Apparently, there was a Jaguar port in production at
A
one point
Jaguar
as well.
CD port specifically.
There was so many Jaguar CD ports in development, I swear, and like none of them came out.
Yeah, because everyone was like, "Oh, this thing is DOA. We're just
This thing,
we are not wasting our time."
this thing is DOA, and the ones that did make it out might not even work. Like,
Yeah, exactly. That was just a complete dumpster fire for them,
uh,
unfortunately.
I'll never forget I saw one in public person, and the box suddenly said untested, no guarantee will work. $600, and I'm like,
Thanks, guys.
nah, I'm good. I don't need the toilet that bad.
No.
Creature Shock though. It's weird. I didn't hate it, but I also didn't really like it.
I was hoping to like it more than I did, but I didn't hate it at the end of the day. It's just a game that definitely needed to. It didn't really know what it wanted to be. I think it's trying a lot of different things, and none of those things really end up working.
When I saw it was Argonaut, it made a ton of sense because Argonaut they were really one of the biggest like hit or miss developers there was.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, this time, like, think about it, the same year this came out, we got Stunt Race FX.
Hmm.
And I think Stunt Race FX is a fairly solid racing. It's no virtual racing,
No.
but I think it's a fairly solid racing game for the Super Nintendo.
But
So
then they also had Vortex, which is like one of those games where I'm like, I see where we're going, but I don't know what the fuck to do.
oh, it's like that.
Vortex
That was like a
experience.
weird mech shootery type of thing.
Yeah, it was like one of the other Super FX games they made, and I remember I tried playing, and I was like, I don't know what to do, and that was my experience with Vortex.
Fair enough. Never played it, so I can't say.
Yeah, it's the Super. I went on a journey of playing all the Super FX games minus Winter Gold because that one's European only. But and that other like European only like racing one. But yeah, the FX ship is interesting, but a lot of the games weren't very good.
Yeah, just the technology of the time, I guess.
Hmm. I didn't really look up the reviews for this game. Oh,
They weren't great.
Computer Gaming World gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars.
Sure.
IGN gave the Saturn version 2 out of 10,
Damn.
and Next Generation gave 1 out of 5 stars.
Let's see. IGN says track-based shooters with lots of pre-rendered cut shots are the bane of our existence. Woe to the hapless gamer who actually pays his hard-earned money for these dogs. I warn you now, avoid creature shock like your life depends on it. God
Oh, and
damn.
IGN praised the game for its beautiful artwork. What? Excuse me.
Maybe for the time, I don't know.
Uh,
I just think people were enamored with anything and everything that was 3D back then.
I guess. I look at
That's
this
the only
game.
thing I could think of because they're just like, oh, it's 3D, it's fucking cool as shit. And it's like, well, I guess, but like, you need a game there, man. But
That also tracks for IGN reviews because I swear, like every IGN review, they'll have like their actual point, and then they'll have some random, like off the wall, like just statement in there that's like you just kind of read and you go,
be like, you sure you meant that? Yeah.
you just go, okay,
Yeah.
that's a choice.
I mean, if anybody's going to make a choice like that, it would be IGN. Let's see. Next Gen said, positive proof that a good game must consist of more than just flashy graphics and loud sound effects. They judge the game's limited level of interactivity to be utterly backwards, pointing out that the gameplay resembles the 87 game Afterburner.
That's not
Afterburner's a better game than this, though.
That's like, I like how they're saying that like an insult. I'm like, is that an insult? You made the game like a good game?
Well, if you remember, there was actually a time where like people didn't like old shit because it was old, man.
That's true. That's true.
So, you know, and my guess is, and think about it was 87, this is 94. So it's not in that like it's a retro cool gap yet. It needed another few years before it got there.
Oh, this one is really funny. GamePro gave the 3DO version a negative review, saying that despite the variety of gameplay styles, the gameplay feels routine due to the lack of multiple weapons. It also
Sure.
they also this is my favorite part because this is like, did you play the game? They also criticized the cursor movement for being too slow. Excuse me?
To keep up with enemies, even when the player's technique is flawless. I mean,
The cursor was too slow.
even still, it's hard to keep up.
It is. It's more like it's too fast. That was my problem.
Yeah. Oh, a Game Pro called the Saturn version a poor man's Siberia. Look at that.
It's not batshit insane enough to be Siberia.
Yeah, it just doesn't have that. Yeah. Again, maybe this makes more sense on computer because again, it feels just more like a game made for the PC with having these like rail shooter segments and this type of gameplay that feels like it favors like having a mouse more so than a controller. Because I think if it was a more of a controller based game, it would be more of like that bit in a Demolition Man when you can run around the maze.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it should have been more like that, and I think it would have worked out better because you need that kind of interactivity to get kind of engrossed in that bit. Because I mean, it's not like that section is necessarily bad. You're just walking around this weird fleshy cave with all these weird bosses and enemies coming at you, and it's like, if this was a normal shooter, I'd be like, I'd like this. This is probably a lot of fun. I feel like it has the potential to be genuinely fun.
It was a weird comparison, but while I was playing those sections, I was kind of like, I kind of wish this played like those weird raptor sections in Jurassic Park Interactive, only
yeah,
good.
Yeah, where it's like you could actually like roam around. Yeah. Because like most of this rail shooter stuff, I just don't like it unless it's like, say, like a House of the Dead or something like that, where it's meant to be like a light gun game.
Yeah.
And it's just like a shooting gallery, basically, you know? Like that you can get away with. But this isn't necessarily that. And I don't know, it feels more like Neurodancer in some ways.
Yeah, where it's just kind of disappointing, and you're just kind of like,
but at least it's better than Neurodancer because it's not weird and stupid.
Yeah, Neurodancer was like, look I made a porn game.
Kinda.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
this one unfortunately wasn't it. It was a shame because like I had Argonaut attached to him. I like Argonaut, and I was like, this could be something, but
I mean, it's more compelling than a lot of stuff we've played on the system.
oh
But
yeah, like I would say it's in that bottom half. Like it's in that, but it's at the top of the bottom half.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's in that C range where it's kind of like bordering D and C. Where
Yeah, low C
hmm.
for sure, low C.
I find it really funny too that there's no CDI reviews, at least like that I could at least easily accessible ones, and I'm assuming that's because in 1997, who the fuck was still playing the CDI?
Exactly.
That's so funny. Like we're gonna port this to CDI. Like sure,
Maybe it was a contract or something. Who knows?
maybe. um, so for must play, okay, stay away. I don't want to 100% play stay away, but I
It's
really can't.
okay.
It's okay, but it's like a very okay, I guess.
It's a low okay, a low K, if you will.
A low. I'm gonna make that the thing. A low K.
It's a low K. So I'm trying to think what we played last week. My brain is mush. I can't remember anything.
Oh, we played Dr. Hauser.
Dr. Hauser. Yeah, Dr. Hauser was better than this.
Yeah, Dr. Hauser, it was technologically impressive. It just was
And
very
it's
short.
actually a game and you can play
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, if this game was just the shootery stuff like Total Eclipse, I think it would be better. You know? And if they wanted to do the thing where it's like you're doing the Star Fox stuff and then you land and then it turns into fucking Doom, I'd be like, there we go.
that would be actually.
I probably would have gave this a must play because I'd be like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Like, because they made a good rail shooter, like space rail shooter. They just didn't make a great ground rail shooter.
No.
So
It
it's like Star Fox Assault.
Unfortunately.
It's like Star Fox Assault.
Star Fox Assault is way better than this.
I know. I like Star Fox Assault, but I still like the goof on it because it's weird.
I mean, it's an easy game to goof on, but you know.
Yeah, I goof on it because I like
it. It's fair enough.
So for next week, we're actually doing a bit of a special. We're going back to Army Men.
Oh yes, yes, we are tackling a new game in the Army Men series, and we're gonna have some guests. So, and it's gonna be a little bit of a special thing. So, stay in tuned. So, should we say which Army Men game it is or not?
I'll give a hint. 64.
Yeah,
make that make what you will of that.
Yeah. So
I can hear Alex just like cringing in the background somewhere.
She doesn't listen to these.
No,
come on.
Come
on. Who are you kidding?
Just went
no.
No,
she doesn't listen to 3DO in general.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Alex, if you are, then DM me something in Discord when you hear this bit, and if you don't, I know you don't listen.
Yep. But yeah. Once again, guys, though, thanks for joining us on the 3DO Experience. You can find the 3DO Experience on all the major podcasting platforms, and be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network, superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site where you can find a whole bunch of awesome creators, videos, blogs, and Thrak, you're working on the next Thrak Ops, I believe, right?
Yes, I am. I am in the middle of Call of Duty 4. I'm thinking I will get that recorded next week. So hopefully that'll get out fairly soon. Because for the next game, which is World at War, I am also going to be having a special guest. You may know him.
Yeah. I wonder who that is.
Yeah, I wonder.
But yeah, no, looking forward to that. Check out all of the awesome Superpod Network people, the fun group of podcasters on the internet, as they say. Yeah. Well, anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining us, and we will see you all later.
Bye-bye.